Good afternoon, everybody. Uh, we'll just wait for another 5 more minutes, then we'll start the webinar for all the people to join. We'll just wait for 1 more minute and then we'll proceed with the webinar. Okay, we'll start the webinar. Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you all are staying home and staying safe. I take this opportunity to thank each one of you for taking time to participate in this webinar on hardware and loop simulation. I'm Karthikeyan. I'm working as a sales manager in Trident Infosol. Before going into the webinar, let me just run through a quick intro about Trident Infosol. Trident Infosol was started in the year 2000. It is one of the companies in India that stand for the name Complete Solution Provider. We are in this field phenomenally serving customers for the past 20 years. These are some of the public and private sector clients that we cater to. Trident Infosol operates in 3 major verticals. one is COTS hardware, COTS software, and system solutions. With these three verticals, we serve various industries like aerospace, defense, automotive, industrial, medical, and a lot more. This is the first vertical, commercial off-the-shelf hardware solution. These are some of the products that we support in our COTS hardware group. These are some of the partners with whom we collaborate to provide solution to our customer needs. This is the second vertical called COTS software. I belong to this team. This is the team which is responsible for organizing today's webinar. We cover the entire V-cycle from requirements to validation. In requirement stage, we have products like Rectify, NoMagic, Argosym, Innovia. And in the designing stage, we have Dymola, CST, FMI, RAM Commander, and a lot more. In the code development stage, we have compilers, debuggers, multi-IDs, integrities, and AutoSort builders. These are some of the products which we have taken from our list and we have showcased here for your reference. And in the verification and validation field, we have hardware and loop, RCP, test idea, Ensure++, and C++ test also. In the test and measurement stage, we offer programmable power supply, load, waveform generators, and EMC test. These are some of the partners with whom we collaborate to provide solutions to our customer needs. Here, SpeedGoat is our key partner when it comes to HIL and RCP requirements. This is the third and the final vertical called the system solutions. These are some of the products that are designed, developed, and manufactured in-house in Trident. This is an overview of our facility in Bangalore. We are capable, we also have thermal chamber and drip test facilities in-house in Bangalore. So that's the end of my presentation. And the speaker of today is Miss Spurti. She is a design and application engineer in Trident, dedicated specifically for SpeedGoat. She has done her master's in VLSI design and embedded systems. She has a deep knowledge in the segment and has been jubilantly handling SpeedGoat requirements from all over India in Trident. I will now let Spurti take over the session. Over to you, Spurti.
Thank you, Kartikeya. Can you make me presenter?
Yes.
I hope everyone can see my screen. So I welcome you all for this webinar, Perform Hardware in the Loop Simulation with Simulink and SpeedGoat to test and validate control algorithms and plant models. In today's session, we are going to discuss concepts of real-time simulation and testing, RCP and hardware in the loop workflow, Simulink real-time, and what are the SpeedGoat target machines and I/O modules, some of the user stories, and at last, we are going to have question and answers. You can all drop your questions in the chat box, and we will take the questions at the end of the session. So in our everyday work, we frequently come across the word model-based design, which is mainly used in order to develop any of the embedded system. So in this particular V development cycle, I have taken in order to showcase two types of the stages which comes in real-time testing. So this involves rapid control prototyping and hardware in the loop simulation. The rapid control prototyping comes in the early stages of design cycle. In this particular case, if controller is not available with us, but still we can check how the entire control loop will work by simulating the controller algorithm. Moving forward in the design cycle or V development cycle, we come across hardware in the loop simulation. In case of hardware in the loop simulation, we will be simulating the plant system in order to avoid any of the danger or hazardous condition, and we'll see how the system works in closed loop system. So let us see how exactly the workflow is present in hardware in the loop simulation. So in any of the control system which is modeled in Simulink, it consists of a controller model and plant model. So when I'm talking about hardware in the loop simulation, I will have a actual controller or ECU with me. But in case of the but in case of the plant is actually simulated on the target machine, and controller part is entirely replaced with the hardware IO drivers. So, with the help of the IO modules present on the real-time target machine, we'll be able to communicate in real time with our actual controller or ECU. This is the workflow for hardware in the loop simulation. So, coming for the rapid control prototyping, which is another type of real-time simulation. In this case, actually the physical plant will be present with us, and we'll take the controller model or controller algorithm and put on the target computer. In place of the plant model, we'll place the IO driver blocks with the help of which we'll be able to talk to our controller, which is simulated on the target machine in real time. So these are the two types of real-time simulation and testing types which we can see in the V development cycle. So you might have a question why we should really do real-time testing. So the reasons are it is very easy to detect design flaws at the earliest possible stage. With the help of the target machines or the hardware in the loop simulation, we will be able to tune our parameters in the model, and also we'll be able to monitor or log those signals which enable us to detect the design flaws at the earlier possible stage. And also it implies that our embedded implementation of algorithms proves and it works well on the required target hardware. The second point is we can perform fully automated extensive testing. In many of the scenarios, it is really dangerous or limitation. It imposes limitation to test on a real system. But with the help of the target machines from SpeedGoat, we can perform and also automate these testings against the requirement. And this testing can go beyond the range of normal parameters, as we are doing the simulation here in a very safe environment. It also reduces the risk or damage to the equipment as well as to the operator. And at last, it definitely accelerates the time to market. So, in many of the times, we can see that while performing the hardware in the loop simulation of a plant and control system, they actually even develop some of the plant system or the actual system. So, it is also not really required to wait for the actual prototype to be available in order to test our plant system. So these are the some of the benefits that we are going to get by doing real time simulation and testing. So what is SpeedGoat then? Here, as I told you, the SpeedGoat is a company which provides the solutions for real-time simulation and testing. Basically, it's a Switzerland-based company, and it is also an official partner with MathWorks in order to provide a complete solution for real-time simulation and testing. On the software side, we can see the products from MathWorks, which involves different toolboxes for real-time instrumentation or automatic code generation, and also the Simulink test, which is meant for the test automation. And on the hardware side, we can get the target computer from SpeedGoat, which consists of CPU, FPGA, or IO modules of customer need, and also communication protocols. So, along with the SpeedGoat target machine, customer is also going to get SpeedGoat driver blocks. In between these two, you can see a interface called a Simulink real-time kernel, which will be mainly responsible to work in real time. As I told you, these are the different product family available from MATLAB and Simulink. Here, Simulink has a particular product family for real-time simulation. The main toolbox which is responsible to carry out the real-time simulation is Simulink Real-Time. It mainly helps to take our design, which we are simulating in the desktop in the earlier stages, to the real-time execution on the target machine. It actually takes care of three main workflow or three main steps in order to carry out a hardware in the loop simulation or rapid control prototyping. The three main steps involved are code generation. With the help of Simulink Coder, we will be able to automatically generate C code from the Simulink model. And then the Simulink real time will compile and link the driver blocks and all the associated subsystems present in the model, and it will form a one particular single file and pass it or download it on the target machine via Ethernet cable. So these are the three simple steps. With the help of the Simulink real time, we'll be able to take our model run on target computer. Again, with the help of Simulink real time, it is also possible to live parameter tuning, or we can visualize the signals and execute our controller parameters. We can also log the data back into the MATLAB for the offline analysis. We can actually have a user interface in order to interact directly with our control algorithms or these models running in the real time. Simulink real time also provides or it provides the IO driver blocks for the IO modules as well as for the communication protocols. The driver blocks can be easily drag and dropped into your Simulink model, and you can straight away use it in order to connect with your physical system. The extended features of Simulink real time are which help us to control and instrumentation of the real time application. There are two possible ways with which we can actually talk to the real-time application running on target machine. The one is Simulink Real-Time Explorer, and the second one is MATLAB App Designer. The slide you're seeing is a example of a Simulink Real-Time Explorer panel. Here, it actually helps to define the target computer and also manage the target computers. We can actually select which particular real-time application that we want to execute on the real-time target machine. We can also have an instrumentation panel made in the Simulink Real-Time Explorer in order to directly control the real-time application. So because of this, we don't have to go back to the model and make any of the changes. For example, we can change the sample time of the model from the Simulink Real-Time Explorer itself. It also gives an opportunity to visualize the signals with the help of the scopes, real-time scopes. And also you can see the model hierarchy on Simulink Real-Time Explorer panel itself. This is brief a note on Simulink Real-Time Explorer. With the help of Simulink Real-Time, we can also make our real-time application run in standalone mode. So what is standalone mode? If we don't want to connect our target computer to to the development PC every time, and if we don't want to work in this manner, we can actually run the real-time application on the target machine in standalone mode. So we just have to select which target real-time application that we want to execute in standalone mode, and then we have to pass it to the target machine. Once the system is or the target machine is powered up, the application starts executing it on its own. We can also have instrumentation panel from the Simulink Real-Time Explorer in order to control the real-time application. This real-time explorer panel or the instrumentation, you can actually use it on the system which is independent of the MATLAB and Simulink. Moving forward, here is to summarize the key features of Simulink real-time. As I told you, it helps to automatically generate the real-time application which are modeled in the Simulink and then execute those models on CPUs or FPGAs. And also we can have the connectivity of IO modules and protocols. The Speedboat target computer hardware is an integration with the Simulink real time. It's ready to use on the desktop or lab or the field purpose. The driver blocks for all the IO modules and communication protocols are readily provided. With the help of Simulink Real-Time Explorer, we can actually connect to the target computer in order to manage or control the real-time application execution. It's also possible to make to work the real-time application in standalone mode with the help of Simulink Real-Time. So how will be the setup in case of the Simulink real-time and target computer? Initially, we will have the development computer on which all the models and Simulink and environment will be running. With the help of the Ethernet cable, we will connect the development PC to the target computer. Inside target computer, as I told you, there will be multiple CPUs or multi-core CPU and also FPGAs or IO cards and protocol interfaces. With the help of those interfaces, we will be able to connect our actual system or physical system under test. This is just like a simple setup which involves development PC, target computer, and physical system. Then what are the types of the target computers? Basically, Speedboat provides three main target computers. The target computer workflow will remain same for all the types. That is, it follows Simulink real-time workflow. Coming to the first target machine, it is called as performance real-time target machine. The performance real-time target machine will include Intel Core i7 or it can also have multiple CPUs which are having multiple cores. If the complex application are to be uh, executed on the target machine, then the performance real-time machine will be most suitable. And also, with the help of the CPU as well as the FPGA, we can have the concurrent execution of the real-time application. Basically, this performance real-time target machine allows 7 IO cards to be installed. Or we can also expand the performance target machine with the help of an expansion chassis. We can also have the rack integration where we can actually integrate 100 number of IO modules. This is performance real-time target machine. The second one is mobile real-time target machine. The mobile real-time target machine is most ideal or suitable for in-vehicle use or for the field purpose. It has different variants again, you can see on the slide, and it has an Intel Core i7 and also we can have FPGAs based on the application and requirement. On the mobile real-time target machine, we can actually stack up to 14 number of IO modules. The third one or the entry level target machine is called as baseline real time target machine. Here, the CPU will be Intel Celeron CPU and optionally we can also have FPGA cards. This is most suitable for the application which requires very few channels or very few number of IO modules. But here, when I say very few, we can actually have multiple types of IO cards. There are two variants again in the baseline real-time target machine that you can see that you are seeing on the slide. This is exactly how the customized field rack will look like. Here we can see the performance real-time target machine along with a different number of IO modules or different type of IO modules. And for each of the IO modules, we can have the breakout panels and also the connectors and signal conditioning. And if we want to see the fault insertion or the failure insertion, we can also have a provision for this. And this is the Hill rack setup. On the development PC, there are certain prerequisites which are need to be there in order to start using SpeedCode target machine. That is Simulink Real-Time, MATLAB Coder, Simulink and Simulink Coder. These 5 toolboxes from Simulink are really required in order to start working with the SpeedCode machine. We can also have HDL coder, or HDL coder is required when FPGA cards are used in the target machine. SpeedCode actually supports broad number of IO connectivity and protocols. Here, to categorize, we can see there are multiple cards available for analog input, output, digital input and output. And also there are FPGA cards available in order to implement some of the functionalities like PWM generation, PWM capture, or quadrature encoder, quadrature decoder, and also some of the custom implementation protocols like I2C or SPI. We also have IO modules for the fault insertion and for the resistor simulation and the temperature simulation and also for the battery management system. Here, there are different cards which are mainly based on sample rates or the number of channels required based on the application. In the communication protocol side, we also support almost all the protocols which are required for the automobile or industrial automation, aerospace industry, and multi-purpose communication protocols. To name few of them, uh, maybe in automobile like CAN-FT, LIN, FlexRay, and for the industrial automation like Profinet, Profibus, or Aurora. In case of aerospace, it can be ARINC and MIL standard 1553. So in a nutshell, these are the different types of IO modules and communication protocols supported. There are FPGA cards supported by SpeedCode, and there are 2 types of FPGA IO modules. The one is configurable FPGA IO module and the second one is programmable FPGA IO module. When the closed loop sample rates are below 20 kHz, the suitable FPGA will be configurable FPGA. And for the higher sample rates, about 20 kHz to 100 kHz, programmable FPGA IO modules can be used. In case of configurable FPGA module, if the requirement is given to SpeedCode, they themselves will give the IP core or code module required to be run on the FPGA. In case of programmable FPGA, customer can themselves generate the HDL code and they can run on the FPGA card. For the programmable FPGA, HDL coder workflow is required. So here is the list of applications or the industries where the SpeedCode target machines can be used. It is not really restricted to any of the particular application or particular domain. Starting from the aerospace, where we can actually see like simulating the controller algorithms, or we can also go to the automobile applications or energy sectors like supergrids and microgrids, and also in the industrial automation and control. We also have the solution in order to simulate or test the medical devices. And at last, we also have some of the solutions available for academia. Here in the next few slides, we are going to see some of the user stories. The first story is from Virgin Orbit, which they have used for hardware-in-the-loop simulation. Launcher 1 is basically a two-stage launch vehicle of Virgin Orbit, and it is mainly used to deliver small satellites into low Earth orbit. Here, the main challenge or the application was each mission or in every cycle, there will be several crucial separation events. For example, separation of the launcher one from its carrier aircraft, or it can be also separation of the satellite payload from the secondary stage of the launcher one. So it is better to ensure there is an adequate clearance between each of the separation structures. In order to get confirmed about this, they actually used Simulink in order to model the system and also simulate the system in real time scenarios. Here, the solution, as I told you, they used some of the toolboxes like MATLAB Simulink and Simscape Multibody in order to model the structural components. And they also carried out Monte Carlo simulations in order to find out the number of unknowns which may cause the collision. And they also wanted to run the simulation concurrently on the target machine. That's the reason they used Simulink real time on and SpeedGo target computer. As a result, they were able to complete the simulation 10 times faster, and also the simulation setup times cut off by 90%. And they also got that confirmed their models are going to work properly on the real-time target machine or in the real-time hardware. So the second user story is from Korean Air. Korean Air, basically the engineers there work in order to design or develop the flight management and control software for unmanned aerial vehicles. And also they carry out simulations like hardware in the loop in order to verify that their software is working fine. The main challenge here they faced are earlier they used to hand code the UAV flight controller software. Due to this, they faced some of the problems, like they found it difficult to program in C by hand for the complex flight control algorithms. And also, they wanted to deploy the controller algorithms quickly on the embedded controller. In order to do this manual coding and also reviewing this unit test, it took too much of time and effort to complete. So they were running out of their deadlines. The solution what they found was they developed UAV flight control software using the control system toolbox, and also they developed entire dynamic model of the UAV, which includes landing gear dynamics, which is responsible for automated takeoffs and landings with the help of aerospace toolbox. And they run the entire dynamic model of the UAV on the target machine. And their flight control algorithm was running on an embedded controller. So as a result, there was 100% runtime errors in handwritten code were identified, and those errors were eliminated. This was possible actually because of the automatic code generation from the toolboxes. And also their development effort reduced because they used the models, and they also had automatic code generation, and deploying the code on the target machine was also very easy. As I told you, it actually takes a click of a button. And they also found that the solution was very cost effective. So the next user story is from Cessna, where they have used hardware in the loop simulation with the help of SpeedGo target machine in order to know their anti-skid, or in order to simulate their anti-skid technology. Here, the Cessna is actually well known for their innovative technologies. But they were facing many of the issues in their anti-skid controller algorithm. The main challenge was on some of the landing, the prototype of the brake control system, it applied and released the brake more than necessary. And they knew that some of the combination of runway or the brake wear condition played a major role in bringing out this issue, but they were not exactly knowing, or but they were not able to conduct this type of hundreds of flight simulation, landing simulation on in real time, and also it was time consuming. So they modeled of prototype of the entire system, like which involved the drag or engine thrust and landing gates, etc., in the Simulink, and they generated code out of it and they run on the target machine. Whereas on the other hand, the controller algorithm, there were several controller algorithm used which was running on the embedded controller platform, and with the help of the Simulink real-time and speedgood target computer, they were able to run different simulations at a sample rate of around 2000 hertz, and also analyze or plot the data of various signals in real time. And as a result, they also found out the actual cause for this type of issue. So the result at the end was the thousands of dollars or months or the time actually is saved here because of the automatic code generation of the model and deploying those models on the target machine. And they also found that the Simulink models worked fine on the target machines, though the tools were very easy to design and also to run on the target machine. And intermittent control problems were found and those were isolated. Usually it is very tough to track these type of unknown issues, but with the help of the simulations in real time, they kept simulating different scenarios or different conditions of the landing conditions until they found what's the actual reason, and they could actually replicate it every time. This is the user story from Cessna. There is another user story from Gulfstream Aerospace. Here also, they connected, or they first they modeled their engines in the Simulink and deployed those models on the target computer and connected the target computer against their paddock system and performed the hardware in the loop simulation. At the last, I have another user story from Intelin Air. Intelin Air actually develops, or they have a RD100, a ready to fly drone. And this particular drone has an autopilot flight software involved in it. So they actually developed, in order to rapidly prototype or simulate and deploy their control hardware, they control software, they move to the hardware in the loop simulation along with the speedgood target machine. First, they modeled the 6DOF Simulink model of the drone, this model of the drone in Simulink, which consists of the motors or drone's mass properties, even propulsion, and several sensors or the airframe, etc. in the Simulink. And their flight control was actually again modeled with the help of some of the toolboxes of the Simulink, which involved algorithms to calculate the drone velocity or position orientation, or even accepting the signals from the sensors and also giving out some of the outputs based on the inputs. So the flight control algorithm was deployed on a particular embedded controller, and the entire model of the drone was running on the target computer. So here we can see it is not really good to directly connect the controller to the target, to the actual plant and see how the system behaves. So these are the user stories where we can see where they have simulated their plant and checked the controller algorithm, how it really works in a real-time environment. It is like it also saves the money. Majorly, it also reduces the development time, and all the simulations are carried out in a safe environment. So these are some of the user stories where they have used Speedboat for the hardware in the loop simulation. So here we are at the end of the presentation. The major or the key points that to take away from this webinar are we came to know the two types of real-time testing and the workflow which is involved in real-time testing, like RCP as well as hardware in the loop simulation. What are the key features that are supported by Simulink real-time? Different target machines or the IO modules supported by Speedgoat, and how exactly we can use the target machine for to carry out the hill simulations with the help of the user stories. If there are any questions, you can actually send them in the chat box and we are ready to take those questions.
Thank you, Spurti. Spurti, we have some question. One, Mr. Venkatesh has asked us a question. Do we need HTL coder from MathWorks for configuring the FPGA? HTL coder. Do we require HTL coder from MathWorks to configure our FPGAs?
Yes. So there are two types of FPGAs. As I told you, for the programmable FPGA, where customer they themselves want to program the FPGA, then they require HDL coder.
There's another question from Ms. Avani. How fault injection happens? Is the question clear, or you want some more elaborate points on that? How the fault injection happens?
Okay, so here we cannot actually inject a fault and see how the system works, right? So we try to simulate those fault insertion scenarios. We have separate IO modules for the fault insertion, where actually we can program the module. It can be something like stuck at 0 or stuck at 1. Or in simple words like short or open circuit scenarios, and see how exactly the system behaves in certain in such type of uncertain conditions. uh, is it clear? Hello, Sharat?
Yes, Spurti, I think that addressed the question. Do we have
Okay.
any more questions? If not, we can come to the end of the session. Just to let all the audience know, we will have this recorded version of this webinar available on YouTube. You will also receive a link on your emails to join, to revisit this webinar again. And please do subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we keep doing a lot of webinar sessions, not just on real-time hill simulations, but there are plenty of other products that we keep doing. So please request everyone to subscribe to our channel so you get access to all the latest technical webinars that we keep conducting. I think, Spurti, that's end of the question. I think we have no more questions. We could end this session. Thanks everyone for joining again. Stay safe.
Thank you, Sharat. Thank you everyone for attending the webinar. If you have any of the questions, you can directly reach to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Spurti. Bye. Good day to everyone.